What's up, guys? How's it going? We're back here at SAH Podcast with the star of the movie, The Hill, Colin Ford. Colin, thank you for joining us today.
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me.
This is very special film, actually. We're gonna get into it.
Okay.
All
right.
But Colin is has actually won some awards for this film. Exactly, the Family Film Awards, right? You guys won that.
The film won a CBS Family Film Award earlier
exactly.
this year, which was super humbling and exciting to get to share.
I'm gonna give them a little quick snip peek of what the movie is. So it's a true story, which in regards to Rickey Hill,
Right.
that's who you play.
Right.
And then Dennis Quaid, legendary. He plays the father. So Rickey had like a spinal condition as a kid, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he did, and it put him in these immobilizing knee braces in both legs.
Yeah.
And made it difficult to obviously do anything extremely athletic, let alone play baseball.
And then he becomes like this mega high school prospect. And then we'll get into it. I don't want to ruin it for everybody.
Right.
But it's a true story for all my baseball fans. We highly recommend watch The Hill, watch Colin, do his thing. So just so you know, the way we start our show today is because we're going to get into it. I promise. Okay. I promise. I got some stuff for you too.
Sweet.
I'm excited to talk about. Today in baseball, today's April 23rd, 2024 for everybody that's listening. So today in baseball is I go back and see on today's date, like historic stuff that's happened in baseball.
Cool.
So in 1999, were you even born?
Yeah, I was 3.
Okay, cool. So in 1999, which is, I remember this because I was 19. Hello. Fernando Tatis, which is Fernando Tatis Jr. Jr. now plays with the Padres. This was his father. He played for the Cardinals back then. Here at Dodger Stadium, coincidentally, here in LA, he had 2 grand slams against Chan Ho Park in the same inning.
Oh, wow.
Which is...
That's pretty unheard of.
So he's the second person to ever do it.
Okay.
And he's the first in 1900 centuries. So in 18-something, there was another gentleman that did it. It's never been done again. So hitting a grand slam is already like 1 in a million per se, right? You want to use that phrase. But 2, not in the same game.
Same inning.
Same inning, bro. Yes.
Damn.
Andrew's on it. I love it. So that's today in baseball. That was sponsored by Ambiance Realty. I'm a real estate agent here in LA. Thank you. I work for Ambiance Realty. I may not look like it right now, but I do.
I asked him before I came here. I'm like, you don't wear this every day? What the heck?
Look at the look. So I wore these for you here. They can't really see it, but
look at the drip.
Look, so the drip here, we got the Dolce & Gabbana, right? And I wore these for you.
Okay.
And you're like wondering why. I'll tell you why later. Are you
gonna give them to me after?
That's a good one. And then obviously the drip, you got the base. Look at the baseball pens, bro. These are awesome. I love these. Look at these.
Yeah, those are
sick. Trying to show them here on but the shirt, right? I went all out for you, bro.
Dude, I appreciate it.
So today in baseball was sponsored by Ambiance Realty, and today in real estate. So we did today in baseball. No, did today in real estate. This is a real estate and baseball show. I know you guys think it's Colin's show, but it's not.
Hijacking it today.
Yeah, he is totally. Today in real estate, I just want to give everybody a tip. First time buyers. You just bought a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So you pandemic.
Like January 2021, coming out the other side. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, you're like right at the end.
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about that real quick.
Okay.
I'm interested in that because I just started last year in real estate. No, I'm kidding.
Right.
I'm kidding. I've been doing this for long enough. But that market was extremely wild. I've been doing this for almost 15 years, so I'm calling mentors that I know, I'm sorry. Yeah, right? And I'm like, what's going on? And nobody knew. Everybody's like, dude, this is like unheard of. And the reason I say that is because, and I'm wondering if you went through this, the home is worth $800,000, and your agent says, so what do you want to offer? You're like, 800,000. No, never mind. Like, if you're not offering $50K or more, of what you're seeing on list price, don't even bother. Did you go through that?
I paid over ask.
100%. I know you did, but
not much over ask.
Was it like
it was negligible? It was like 20 grand.
20 in 2021.
Yeah, and but you know the property
values.
It's it was relatively speaking to now because you know over the past 3 years I've started looking at what the next house is going to look like, or you know a second property.
Yeah,
et cetera.
Of course,
then,
you got to invest.
And it's always one of those things where it's like my property value's gone up.
Yeah.
But to get into anything else that I want, you know, I don't want to make a lateral move. You always want to make you know somewhat of an up move, whether it's for area, size, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's to get into anything else is you know has also gone up in value. So it's 100%. Kind of like figuring out what
you got to figure out the numbers.
Got to figure out the numbers and
100%.
You know, coming from the acting world and stuff, you know, it's like I'm not a 1099 employee, which makes things more complicated.
Yeah,
and, you know, it's usually kind of like an all.
We're self-employed, so we gotta.
You know, it's like a cash game. So
yeah.
So that's you don't ever want to. I always say you don't ever want to be, you know, house poor. Like you want to get into something that's at or below your means and coast with that for a while, and then let the work kind of build up, and then you move on to the next when it's time.
Exactly. And it's just 2021 real estate was just one of those very unique times. Or just real quick, the highest overpriced that I paid through my clients was $101K.
Really?
101.
It seemed like inventory was pretty slim too, because
it still is.
Yeah, it still is. Yeah,
but that time was wild. That's why you paying 20. You said 25. That's nothing.
It was in between 20 and 40.
That was a steal, bro. Back then,
and that was just because I knew they had other offers, and you know I did the whole. I came out with a nice offer, and I wrote a letter because I really dug the place.
What city, if you don't mind? Sure, you don't need. I don't need your address.
No, in Sherman Oaks.
Okay, so you stayed. He's a Valley guy.
Always have been.
Hey, give a little shout out to the Valley boys out there.
Let's go.
And Drew, let's go. So I'm a Valley guy. You're a Valley guy, and I just love it seeing people from our little circle here in the San Fernando Valley do big things like yourself. So I want the younger generation to be like, well, that guy looks just like me. If he did it, I can do it, right?
Dude, absolutely.
Yeah, that's so awesome. That's one of the main reasons why I do the show. But that's awesome. Sherman Oaks. If you need another investment, you know who to call.
Yeah, dude. You should see this office, guys. I mean, that's crazy.
I just gave him a tour of the office, and he's like, dude, I wouldn't leave.
I wouldn't leave. There's a gym. There's a bar. I don't know how they get any work done.
Yeah.
Have a studio.
You gotta pick your days when you're gonna hit the bar, not the gym.
Yeah,
the gym should be daily.
Every day.
But the bar is like, okay. You see it, it's nice, but it's kind of like that hot chick. You just kind of walk by.
You gotta remember you gotta remember that your keys are in your pocket, and you still gotta get home.
Exactly. And we do have a shower, but still. Oh man. So let's get back on track here. So Today in Real Estate was sponsored by the Mortgage Guys, which Hector, as you know,
my boy,
set this up. Our boy Hector, he's part of the Mortgage Guys, so they sponsored Today in Real Estate. And what I was gonna say was, I was just gonna give a small tip to everybody. As a younger Colin, right? Because I'm the older guy here. You bought at a good age, and the reason I say that is a lot of people ask me, when should I buy? Mm-hmm. And I've heard, I'm not saying because it's me, but I've heard it from other people, investors, multimillionaires that been in the game longer than I have, are like, buy when you can.
Right.
There's no perfect time. Meaning, if you can buy now, you buy now. If you can buy next year, you buy next year.
For sure.
Forget what so-and-so did. Like, that's cool. That's what they did. But when you focus on yourself, just if you can buy, go for it. And then everything else will kind of play itself out.
Yeah.
Because I get a lot of people asking me, like, when's the best time for me to buy? And I'm like, can you buy? Well, have you bought? And that's where I come up with that. That's my tip. What do you think?
I would agree with that. I think also like one of the, because I have a lot of friends who still are renting and they could buy if they wanted to. And I think then they've asked me a lot of questions like, okay, what are your
you went through it already, right?
What are your monthly expenses look like just associated with home owning?
Yeah.
And once I break it down to myself, it's as much or maybe even a little more than they pay in rent. In my mind, I'm like, wait. Maybe that's not great. But then, you also have to understand the fact that over the past how many years I've been in there, my place has appreciated
100%.
Quite a bit. And so you take the cost of appreciation and throw that against what you've, paid in your HOAs and property taxes and et cetera. And you're like, okay, yeah, it's absolutely worth it.
There you go. The guy's a realtor already. He just got here. It's that simple, guys. And it's like I said, tip of the day today in real estate, our tip of the day is that buy when you can. It's a long-term game when you and I buy, or anybody. So all you young actors that have the means of doing it, I'm not telling you this just as a realtor. I'm telling you to benefit you in the long run. I just highly recommend. I tell all my friends that, like, dude, even if they're in New York, Chicago, whatever, I'm not licensed out there. I'm like, just buy it and then let it sit there. Especially in SoCal, our values continue to go up. I
think it's a no-brainer too. It's like real estate, stock market, other investments. Then to diversify amongst all three of those is super 100%. Important. To not spread yourself too thin, because I think I've also seen like buddies of mine go all in on one thing or the other. Whether it's a build out that ends up not selling, and and they're riding these costs for a long time and stuck with something that they're gonna end up either breaking even or taking a loss on. Or they're just like steady in like just the stock market, and they don't want to jump out of that and put it in anything else. And I think it's tough when you have all of your eggs in one basket. Essentially.
And at the end of the way,
it's boring.
It's true, but see what you're doing is like you kind of went about it smart. Because you're like, I can rent, maybe save a couple bucks, maybe not. But now, if you were to, let's say, move somewhere and you just keep the house and you rent it out to the next young actor. And they're paying your equity. I mean, your mortgage. Now you're building equity. Because they don't want to buy it, right? Let's just say, they're like, all right, cool, you can rent my house. And now you're building equity. Your value's going up. It's a no-brainer. Become a homeowner. And stop renting is what I guess is a long story short, right?
I think it's a move, like you said. If you can,
go for it, 100%. Awesome. So let's talk about you, Mr. Colin.
Oh no,
Ford.
We can keep talking about real estate instead.
Yeah, we can actually. We can. You will have me here all day. So you're Sherman Oaks kid,
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
But you were. Was it?
I grew up in Atlanta.
Atlanta. Why did I read Tennessee somewhere?
Well, okay, so
I did my work.
I was born in Nashville.
That's what I read. I didn't know about Atlanta though.
Moved to Atlanta. My parents in the middle of a move from Nashville to Atlanta, and
then boom.
Mom was still in Nashville, being 9 months pregnant and and chilling, and then Dad started the new job in Atlanta, and was they were building a house in Atlanta, so
nice.
Wasn't quite ready yet, and I knocked on the door 2 weeks early, and popped out in Tennessee, and then that was back in the day. I guess they let you stay in the hospital longer than a day now, but back in the
or two.
But back then it was a day, and so the day later. I had moved to Atlanta. Yeah.
And then when did you guys? So you were born in Tennessee, but you left to Atlanta the next 24 hours.
Yeah, right away.
Atlanta, and then you shipped out
when I was 10.
Okay, so you
10
grew
years
up
old, middle of the third grade.
Oh wow, that's a crazy.
Yeah,
move,
right
huh?
between.
You're like, what happened? Like, what in the world just happened? Right?
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
Yeah. Where'd you go to school then?
Out here?
Yeah, in the valley.
I went to Curtis Elementary School, which is off Mulholland.
Oh, yeah.
And then I went to a school called Campbell Hall.
I know Campbell Hall.
On Floral Canyon.
Floral Canyon. Now it used to be a small school.
Dude,
now
it's expanded
massive.
So much. They had all these new facilities.
My buddy played ball there. He was a baseball player at Campbell Hall.
Okay.
Back in 97, 98.
Yeah, they fundraised our
private
grades.
School.
They fundraised from our grades to build those
probably.
Buildings now.
Yeah.
that none of us are there for.
Yeah. But it's a very like low key type of school. Right?
No, it's mellow.
It's not like cool. It's not Harvard Westlake. It's not Notre Dame for people in the valley. Those are all high schools.
Although we'll still crush most of those schools in basketball. At least when Aaron Holiday was there.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he was in my grade.
Really?
Yeah, Max Hazard, Aaron Holiday. They were our goats.
Did you play?
I played sports. Pretty much played football, baseball, basketball, ran track until like in between like 9th and 10th grade. Dropped a couple off, and coaches were not thrilled about me cutting out of practice early, and neither was I.
Were you already? You had already.
I was already acting at that age, and so I'd either miss games, miss practices, miss
What
things
year?
like that.
What year was that? What years, roughly?
I graduated in 15, so it would have been 12, 13.
That makes sense because you were nominated at Young Artist Awards from 2008 all the way to 2012. You were nominated and actually won in 2010 and 12. Am I right?
You probably are. I don't remember.
Well, I will say I do my homework. So, but no. So you were already in the acting game, and that's kind of what pulled you from the sports.
I started in Atlanta. That's part of the reason why we moved. That's why we moved out to
So
California.
was mom and dad already in the film industry?
No,
or
not at all. My mom.
You were born. She looked at you and said, "God damn, he's handsome. He's going into movies."
So
what
funny.
happened?
Yeah, my parents are both from the business world. My mom was a CPA in Atlanta and ran a medical practice there, and her secretary had a daughter. This is gonna. I promise it's gonna track. You're good. You're good.
We got all day.
My mother's someone that worked with my mother had a daughter in casting, and I kind of told my mom, like, I watched a lot of television, only child, so they stuck me in front of the TV to keep me quiet, and it worked because I wanted to become a Power Ranger. That was
the Power Rangers.
They were jumping out of the, they started skydiving.
What color?
Red.
He said red, like no hesitation.
Yeah, for
I was
sure.
thinking yellow.
White Ranger's pretty cool too. But,
blue.
Blue's pretty all right.
All right. But the red was you. Okay,
and
gotcha.
the Pink Ranger, she stole my heart first.
Right?
No, so I want to be a Red Ranger, and I think my mom got me like a Halloween costume or something. And I look at her and I'm like, what is this? What is this?
Oh, you didn't know. She got it before you knew what it was?
I meant what is, I was like, Mom, I want to be the Red Ranger.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, cool. So Halloween comes around that year, and she hands me this like Red Ranger costume. I'm like, no. I want to be the Red Ranger.
Oh, you knew the difference.
Yeah.
You knew the difference.
Yeah,
Hello.
I'm like, this is, cosplay, which is cool, but I wanted to be in. So, jokes aside, like, just like expressed my interest for wanting to kind of do that kind of stuff, and
that's very cool.
She kind of knew through this person that she worked with.
That
there were potentially some opportunities, and there was an open casting call for the movie Sweet Home Alabama.
Okay.
With Reese Witherspoon, Patrick Dempsey. Back in the day when I was like 5 years old in Atlanta, and I went to the casting office. Had a cool.
You were 5, you said?
5 years old.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit.
I don't even think I could read then. My mother would say the lines to me.
Yeah.
And I would like repeat them back until I knew them.
Yeah.
And so that I went to this audition and kind of, I think, like on the spot got the job. And
shot it.
Signed with an agency in Atlanta, Joy Purvis.
Really?
Who's just was my agent forever. And longtime family friend, a wonderful agent. And
shout out to Joy.
Shout out to Joy for getting me started.
There you go.
So just did some stuff out of Atlanta for a few years after that, and ultimately, film business is crazy boomed in Atlanta now. It's like the spot to shoot.
They started opening like new studios out there.
It's crazy. And Tyler Perry is just absolutely.
Is that up and running?
Oh, dude, he has everything on lock there, and his whole stage and everything is. I've shot.
It was like
shot
billions of dollars.
Oh yeah, it's like a beautiful setup as well.
But it's done. Like it's full blown.
I believe
it's like
so.
Okay, got it.
I've shot one or two things there, and it was incredible.
Wow.
But like I said, at the time, I was 10 years. By the time I was 10 years old, there wasn't as much infrastructure for filming in Atlanta as there is now. So
now it's different, right?
Yeah, now you could live there. Instead of LA. I mean, but moving to LA was the next step. For moving my career forward. And
so they moved because of you.
Luckily, my mom was willing to. My mom was willing to take a step back from working.
Mom's an entrepreneur.
And dad had the opportunity. The company he worked for at the time had offices in Los Angeles, so it was an easy transition for him. And I have no siblings or any other brothers and sisters to factor into the equation.
Yeah.
It just worked out.
Wow.
I know.
From Tennessee to Atlanta to LA.
Crazy.
That
17
is pretty
years
wild.
Here now. People ask me like, where are you from? Young. And now I say LA because I've been here 17
you've been
years,
here since
so.
Since you were 10.
Yeah.
But I saw Tennessee, so I'm like, Tennessee. And then when he said Atlanta, I'm like, holy smokes, I missed
still
that
have-
part. But
we
now
still
I
have
get
lots
it.
of family in Tennessee, so
Yeah.
we go back every my dad's out there.
So does like everybody's like, can I get your autograph?
No, dude, my family doesn't care at all. They're like, you want to go fishing? You want to get on boat?
Yeah, exactly. How funny. So Sherman Oaks, you grew up in Sherman Oaks, Campbell Hall, which is like, it's, that's Campbell Hall too.
Yeah.
Like if you guys know, it's a very nice private, small private school.
Yeah.
Now big private school, but it's no ordinary school.
For sure.
So you had your perks there, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
What's your mascot? I forget the mascot.
Campbell Hall was the Vikings. I ended up graduating, actually. I spent my
Did you
11th
switch?
and 12th grade
Where?
year at Oaks Christian, all the way out in
I know Oaks
TO.
Christian.
Yeah, I never actually went to campus except for a few exams. But
Was it because of the acting?
Yeah, I just did all my stuff remotely. But
Yeah, that's in Ventura.
yeah, but like
Yeah,
Thousand
but
Oaks,
you-
Ventura.
yeah, Thousand Oaks, but you
and that's
never-
like a college campus, dude.
That
That
is-
school is like
Dude,
on a whole other level.
Oaks
It's like a Harvard Westlake.
It
kinda
is
thing. Yeah,
out
yeah.
there. I think Oaks. I could be wrong here. I think Oaks Christian was Harvard Westlake before Harvard Westlake.
Oh,
Does
I
that
don't
make
know.
sense?
No, yeah,
I think so. If I remember correctly, I could be wrong. Back in 2013, 14, I was actually scouting for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Okay, cool.
Rickey got drafted by the Expos. I
Yeah.
thought there was a connection there, but it's not. And there was a gentleman named Phil Bickford, which was pitching for Oaks Christian, and I would go just to his game. That's it. Like literally, like, hey, Phil's pitching on Tuesday. All right, cool, I'll be there. Boom, 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 and just followed him throughout his senior year.
Crazy.
And that's how I saw the campus. I'm like, oh shit, this is nice.
Yeah, it was.
It's not no ordinary school.
I
for
wish I
sure.
could have gone to the campus every day because it was sick.
Is it because they had online or what was?
Yeah, they had both. So they had a lot of. I guess they started their online program for
at a high school level. Jesus Christ.
I guess it's mostly because of the Christian element behind the school. He had a lot of families who were like missionaries or who were traveling and doing works in other countries and things like that, and it allowed them to keep their family unit together by traveling together.
Okay.
And which I think is great, and also I think there's so many, like, growing up as an actor, and there's so many online programs that I had friends do.
Yeah.
And
everybody went there? Is that what it was?
no, what I was going to say is
necessarily?
some of them were, not the best,
Right.
as far as, like, continuing your education to,
Right,
know, to a high level, and, knowing that I was going to do the acting thing. And
Yeah.
my parents were pretty adamant about me staying in a really great program and
Yeah.
allowing myself to give myself the best opportunities for if I wanted to stop acting or if I wanted to go have a great college experience. So what school is going to allow me, online school is going to allow me to be able to, put myself in the best position for whatever I want to achieve. in the future.
Right.
And Oaks was like a no-brainer because,
Wow.
It had the name of the school behind it
Oh
as well.
yeah.
And
Everybody knows
and
Oaks.
it just ended up working out.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. I didn't know you actually went there. You didn't go there, but
I didn't
you
go
get
there,
it.
but
Yeah. But you went to Campbell Hall, so that's good.
Yeah, no, that one I went. Yeah, I was there from 7th grade to the 11th.
So I see here you were also in a movie with. Well, let me ask you something real quick because let's talk about a little bit about The Hill, the movie itself.
Cool.
Right. So Rickey Hill, which is for all our baseball fans, Rickey Hill. This is a true story.
Right.
So true story. We were just discussing it. As a young kid, he had a spinal condition, which basically I saw the movie. It's a great movie. I think I could have just subbed in for you a couple roles. They would have never noticed.
Yeah, put the baseball helmet.
Yeah. No, you did great. I want to talk about it. I'm so interested in how that works, but let's talk about Rickey just real quick so people understand what we're discussing.
Right.
So Rickey Hill, was he in Texas or did he move to Texas?
Texas.
That's what it was, right? So we all know in high school baseball is like huge out there, or any high school sports, they take their stuff serious.
For sure.
So Rickey had a spinal condition where he had these braces right on both sides, right, where it's hard for him to even walk.
Yeah.
And growing up, his goal was just to play ball, like just a kid, like any other kid. A long story short, so you guys can see the movie. As he grows up, he becomes the stud, like the guy
For his team, yeah.
for his team, right? And that's where you come in.
That's right.
And he does so well that back then it's kind of like, no social media, none of that stuff. Like you gotta know somebody to make a call. And according to the movie, they called like a top-notch scout, because the guy was hitting dingers, like natural born hitter, right? And that's where Rickey gets hurt, right, senior year, comes back, and then so on and so on. But it becomes he I don't want to say too much because I want them to see it. But you can say whatever you want in regards to it. But what I want to tell everybody is, true story, Rickey Hill, he got drafted by the Expos. He played 4 years in the minors, and the reason he stopped was because of spinal condition. But it's a great story. And then you got to play alongside Dennis Quaid, which is he first question off the bat, he's got to be a huge baseball fan. Right?
Oh, yeah, I mean, he is, yeah.
I'm assuming, because he also did The Rookie.
Right.
I don't know if you know about that movie.
I think, Dennis Quaid and baseball, like, that's just...
Right? So I'm
sense.
like, he has to... How was that, acting with a legendary actor?
It's great. I've watched Dennis's films my whole life.
Yeah, who hasn't, right?
And, kind of getting to play the father-son thing was incredible.
And he was a tough mother on the movie.
Yeah, tough guy, and I think that like lent to. I think Dennis is a very nice guy and a wonderful actor, but I think also like, I guess the anxiety of like, not the anxiety, but the nervousness, I guess, from acting against someone that I've watched my whole life, and respected my whole life, and I think that lent to. Kind of the dynamic of our characters a little bit more, because there's a little bit of tension.
100%.
My just a little backstory. My Dennis plays my father. He didn't want Rickey to play baseball.
No, not at all.
Mostly because he was worried about his well-being.
Right.
And as far as his physical ability of being able to play, but also the idea of like him possibly getting hurt, and then even more than the physical pain of not being able to play baseball, just kind of like the soul-crushing pain that would come along with
seeing him maybe fail, right? I think that's what it, more than anything.
Absolutely, I think
that's what
that
it was.
Was something he was trying to prevent him from.
Yeah, and people don't probably see that right at first. Like,
I think you might think it's harsh, but if you think about it, what you would want for your son, or for your, from any child that you have, it's obviously you want to protect their body and their mind,
right?
More than anything, you want to protect their heart.
I think that's what that was about.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're kind of playing around the idea here, guys, but it's because wanting you see the movie. But you're right. I think that's what I took from it too, where like they're like, wow, that guy's a douchebag, and he was a pastor, right? Right. But he, like you said, he was in a way also protecting his son the best way that he knew.
For sure. I think any parent would in that position, especially in the era, would probably feel a similar way.
Yeah. So, two things. Let's go with the first one. How was it working with them? Like, do you actually? Because I don't know Hollywood. Mm-hmm. I know it looks like I might have done a couple of films. But honestly, do you go in there on a Monday, right? Do your stuff, and then he comes in on Tuesday, no one's there, and then they just piece it together. Like I've heard those type of stories. Yeah. Or do you guys actually like work side by side together and like kind of build that camaraderie and that bond and et cetera? Does that happen? Like
how did
that happen with you guys?
Yeah, it was very much we're on set at the same time every single day, or depending if we're in the same scenes.
Yeah, of course.
Together throughout the day. Our shoot we filmed in Augusta, Georgia, for Texas. And I think it was like a 27 or 34 day shoot. So sounds like a long time, but in the idea for the whole thing,
all your stuff,
for everybody's stuff.
How many?
Sorry,
20 what?
Like probably anywhere between 29 and 27
so
and 35 days, something like that. Like a month and some change.
You filmed the movie in a month.
Yeah, and there's like prep. There's prep that goes into that.
Really?
The crew is out there a couple weeks before, and
they're setting up and all that jazz. I get it.
They're wrapping out a couple weeks
after.
But
that's kind of fast, no?
Yeah, when I was on set for like a month, which is pretty quick, And
I would think so.
I've done films, that are big studio films with multi-million-dollar budgets, and those will shoot for anywhere between 4 and 7 months.
That's more what I would imagine.
So, it's
a month. It's like bam, bam, thank you, ma'am.
Independent filmmaking typically is pretty tight. You're shooting not as quickly as possible, but you're moving fast.
You got a budget you got to beat, right? Is that what it is?
It's the budget, it's time, it's locations. A lot of the time too, it's like you're either fighting, especially with a film like this where we're using a lot of either daylight or night as well.
Yeah.
You know, all the baseball stuff we shot.
I was gonna ask you that. Where'd you guys film that? The stadium at the very end?
Dude, so
we're hitting the bombs.
We found an old baseball park that was about to get torn down. And
it had lights?
And it had lights and everything.
Oh, wow.
And we completely paid to have it refurbished, which is so ironic because it was a beautiful park when we were done. And about a couple weeks after we left,
they tore it down?
They tore it down right after that.
Oh, what a bummer.
But yeah, all the baseball stuff we filmed in between whatever,
Was it in Texas?
We filmed in Augusta, Georgia.
But the
it took
baseball
place in Texas. Yeah.
But right. Okay, that's where I was going. Yeah, I knew that. But okay, so everything was filmed because I thought you said you filmed some in Texas too. No,
didn't
okay,
film
I
anything
misheard.
in Texas.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Okay. We used Augusta for Texas.
Got it. Okay.
Which was cool to be like in Augusta, like because like the Masters and the culture 100%. There. But it was literally freezing cold. I think we shot in like November, December. It was brutal, and we filmed all the baseball stuff in between 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. So we had, so it was all night shoots all night long.
I didn't catch that part.
You'll notice too, because like baseball's typically not super cold during baseball season.
Yeah.
You'll notice that it's like you can see our breath.
Okay.
And when it's cold outside.
I didn't catch that when I saw the movie.
And I think that we had to add some dialogue or some. We had John Smoltz do the sports casting.
I saw that at the end. Yeah, Johnny showed up.
He's like my favorite player. I grew up a Braves fan, so.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, Braves fan, John Smoltz, Chipper Jones, Andrew Jones.
Hello! I didn't know that.
Those are my three. Those are my big three back in the day.
Okay.
So it was super cool that he got to do the announcing. I have a bunch of. I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic.
No, you're good.
Get excited talking about.
I didn't know you were a Braves fan.
Oh yeah, I'm a Dodgers fan, Braves fan.
Oh, you're gonna have to answer.
We'll have to circle back around.
Yeah. We're gonna get. I have it on here. Trust me.
Okay. But yeah, all the stuff filmed in Georgia. Quick month shoot. Independent filmmaking is an art form.
So he's a stand-up dude that he's. Because you hear these horror stories with these actors, right?
Right.
I say these actors, I'm just generally speaking.
We're all horrible.
Or it's just douche. What a dick, right? But that's awesome that
Dennis was great.
Yeah, the legendary gentleman like him is like, dude, yeah, we're good. Let's
just super professional, just always prepared, just like ready to roll at any time. So it was a pleasure.
Were you able to talk to him outside of just the movie itself, like in regards to like just getting to know the guy, or
a little bit,
very short,
a very little
is it very hard to do that?
Not necessarily difficult. Mostly, there's a lot of times where I was on set and he was already wrapped for the day, or but we did a little bit of hanging out and chatting at the back at the hotel in the lobby and stuff like that. But also like I said earlier, there was a lot of tension between my character and his, and I felt like, man, we can't get like too close and too yuppie with each other because
of the role you're playing.
Yeah, I felt like it was more authentic to kind of have distance.
Yeah.
Because it just added to like my personal nervousness, but also like the character's nervousness or tension between the two, and so I just felt like that was the best way to play it throughout the shoot.
And Gracie, that was your girlfriend on the
right, Sienna.
That's what I was looking up. I'm like, dude, she's gorgeous.
Very great actress. Very wonderful.
Very
girl.
Beautiful young lady.
She is.
And and the role she played was like awesome.
Oh yeah, she crushed it.
She crushed it. Yeah. Like, cause she, you guys growing up sweethearts, and then you guys, move all that, and then she comes back.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude.
I think more than anything is like I want to give props to the kids, like
right,
and like the transition.
Yeah, like, you're right.
We actually shot all of our stuff before the kids landed on set. So like I was wrapped, completely done.
No way.
Before the kids started.
So do you stick around for that?
So I stuck around for a couple days just to kind of hang out with everybody and get to know everyone and
so
kind of they already have all the footage of us.
Yeah. So they got to meet you.
They can kind of mimic everything and
no way.
Kind of get into their own version of who the character is at a younger age. Yeah.
That is very cool.
And just wanted to kind of make them comfortable and other than that, like it's time for me to go. After that, so they really made us, I feel like, look good. More than anything.
They did very good.
Whether it was the siblings or
The sister, the sister.
Yeah,
right?
they're all great. Everybody's great.
And, the brother played too. One thing that I want to talk to you about was, and I know this happens maybe with other movies, but maybe this one too. Did you actually ever get to meet Rickey Hill, the Rickey Hill?
Yeah, Rickey was.
No way.
Rickey was on set with us almost every day.
No.
Yeah.
Shut it.
And he'll.
That is so cool.
I'll probably tell him that we're doing this, and he'll call me next week, and we'll talk. He likes to talk for quite a while.
Rickey Hill, I'm a big fan. Admire your story. I'd love it. And I didn't know about your story. The fact that everything you went through and was able to get to such a high level, especially in the baseball game, as we all know. Everybody knows this. If you get to the pros, it's like winning the lottery, right? And from what I'm seeing, he had the natural gift, the natural talent, but the facts that he had against him, which was the spinal condition, right? I just wanted to say, Rickey, you're admiring to watch in regards to what you went through, and I hope that gives hope to all the other kids out there that are probably have something similar to, not necessarily the same exact stuff, but just to give them hope that, hey, I can do maybe more than what I've been told I can't do.
Totally.
Right? So shout out to Rickey Hill. Thank you for your story, and Colin did a great job. But that's awesome that you got to actually see and meet the Rickey Hill.
Yeah, there's a scene in the movie that Rickey's in. Rickey plays.
Okay, wait a minute. Rickey, I love it when they do that, where they like. Was he an announcer? No,
he was.
Tell me which part.
He was one of the guys that tries to cut me.
Oh, one of the scouts?
Yeah.
Oh,
one of the scouts that tries to cut me.
Who thought of that?
I think our director Jeff Celentano
awesome.
did, or our producer Warren.
How ironic! He's cutting you, right?
Yeah, and that was perfect.
That's
full
perfect.
Circle moment.
Full circle. Was he the one that said, "Kid, I'm not here to debate"? Like, and he lets him swing it. Is that the one?
And then I go, I think
you know what I'm talking about, right?
I think it's like you gotta give me one more shot. And he's like, if that's what's gonna take you,
to
to
leave.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah, that's him.
You're like, I'm gonna hit home runs every.
Yeah.
So is that really happened?
It really happened.
Rickey, are you freaking kidding me, bro?
Just hitting bombs right over the fence, and
like that.
And then finally they said, we got to get this
like,
guy to
okay, stop, bro. You're dropping bombs, literally. That really, that wasn't. That happened.
That's what, as far as I know, the story that I've been told.
That is amazing.
Crazy, right?
And you got to remember, these guys are swinging, and Rickey will testify. They're swinging logs. There's no metal bats.
No.
It's wooden. Like, you got a woody right here. This is a 34-31. I wouldn't be surprised he's swinging like a 35-32 because whatever you got, kid, just swing it. And these are logs that they're swinging.
For sure.
For all baseball fans that know, they know what I'm talking about. So now it's like you can, modify it. And, let me get a 33-29, make it light. No, back then it's like, boom, here. And he's just jacking them.
Yeah, and he's just using whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever was available.
Wow.
Yeah.
So was he was there every day, practically, is what you're
Pretty
saying.
much, yeah.
Yeah. So is that when you met him on stage, or was it like prior to that to get an idea?
It was, it was like when we finally got to set, we met.
No way.
Yeah.
So he would coach you on like, hey, this is how it happened type of thing? Or what was
it
it?
would just
what do
more
you think
like,
the purpose of that was?
Explain, like, he would just have little anecdotes, like little stories, explain, different parts of the story.
Yeah.
Obviously some things changed throughout the filmmaking process
course.
And stuff like that.
It's Hollywood.
But for the most part, like everything.
I'm more focused on the baseball stuff.
Yeah.
I know that it's a great movie with the dynamics of, like you said, the girlfriend coming back and the dad and the mom. Grandma was a big role.
Oh, dude.
That was gnarly, dude.
That was huge for me. That was tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's a really good movie. It's not just a baseball movie, guys. It's a really good family movie.
Right.
But what hit me was like, this is a true story.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
I think that's what attracted me to it so much. Also, a lot of people don't know, like, film came out last year.
Yeah, 2023.
We shot it end of 2021.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was attached to the project since 2018. I
read that it took a long time.
And then the project was already something that was, in Jeff Celentano's world, the director, for like 3 or 4 or 5 years before that.
I heard it took 10 years.
About 10 years.
Why is that?
So by the time I came on board, I met Dennis back in 17, 18.
Yeah.
And I read with him and the director.
Okay.
Kind of afterward, Jeff pulled me aside and was like, you're Dennis, likes you.
Yeah.
And I love you, and we want to do this together. And then, after that, it was just about securing the rest of the financing. They had quite a bit of it already, and then something happened with one of the investors, and he had to pull out. And so then the pandemic happened. And so then we were parked for quite a while. It wasn't until after the pandemic was over, and you were also at that point allowed to make films. I
remember that
under the COVID guidelines and protocols,
which was
testing and masks.
Yeah.
All that stuff, and a lot of extra expenses for an independent filmmaker to have to raise money to be able to do.
Yeah.
But they were able to figure it out and do it, and we were finally able to do it. Which makes sense. Which is honestly, I feel like the story has a lot of faith elements to it. I have faith in my life, and
it does.
And I believe that I truly believe that like God's timing is everything. It's like it's super real.
You can't.
There we go.
Yeah, it's meant to be.
It's meant to be. You know, it's like, and when I first auditioned for The Hill and was first attached to it, I think I weighed something like 140 pounds. Like I was a skinny little 21-year-old kid. By the time we did it, I was like 24, 25, and by the time we started filming, I weighed like 180, like 175.
Did they want you to bulk up?
Yeah,
for the baseball scenes?
It was already something that I was doing. Okay. But it was, I mean, I just in order.
They didn't care either way, or was it?
No,
like...
I think it was something that we were actively talking about.
Okay.
It was something that I was doing 3 or 4 years before.
Yeah.
And I had gotten all the way up to like 155, which is great, but it's still thin for a baseball player. And so by the time we finally started filming, I was at like the 170 range, and then about 30 days before we left.
That's pretty big, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty big.
For movies, right?
Yeah,
like
you look bigger on camera.
You look bigger, yeah.
Yeah, I was able to put on like another 10 pounds in the last month, and I literally would walk around with like a jar of peanut butter everywhere I went, and
protein.
I mean, I'm doing all the gross protein shakes with carbs, like the mass gainers and all that stuff. Yeah, it was disgusting. I was eating like 6,500 calories a day for 6 months.
You do what you got to do, huh?
Yeah, training every day and hitting baseballs every day. And
I was gonna ask you about that, because acting is one thing, and baseball. I mean, if you've never swung a stick, which is a baseball bat, right? For some people that don't know. As an athlete, they look kind of goofy.
For sure. And
so
I did it first as well. I mean, I played baseball until the 8th grade, but that's like 8th grade baseball and high school baseball is totally different.
Yeah, but see, imagine you've never played ever, and then they tell you, hey, swing it. You're going to, like, no offense, but I've seen it.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, what are you doing?
Like loading the back. Like I would always make really great contact with even fast pitches, but loading that back leg authentically was something that came to me later.
Did you have a coach?
I did,
for the baseball stuff.
For the baseball stuff.
No.
Yeah, and it was tough too because I've had a pretty gnarly knee injury my whole life. I've dislocated and tore my MCL when I was like 15,
skating or something?
Dude, I don't want to tell the story.
Oh, okay.
It's so lame. It's so lame. I can't.
I assumed.
But had a bad surgery when I was 15, 16, got repaired, and then
got it.
Luckily, like, we just built up the leg super strong for the baseball stuff.
Yeah.
Just, that there's a quote in the movie that's like full body rotation. It's like getting my hips and legs to like work together and like in that proper full body rotation was something that took like
I remember that full body.
Effort, like
the girlfriend tells them to do
that's
that.
Like her favorite. That's her little reminder.
That's her reminder.
Yeah, dude. And so the baseball stuff was a lot of fun to get to work
cool.
through. I live really close to batting cages in the valley, Castle Park.
Yeah, off
the little arcade and batting cages. I live not far from there, and
100%. I used to go there all the time.
I was over there
swinging it
every day. Yeah, I'd hit baseballs until I couldn't even till my shoulder wouldn't even be able to do it anymore.
So you really had to like swing it.
I had a batting coach here in LA for a couple months, for like 3 months.
Wow, that is very interesting.
We work over at Castle Park, or there's a couple other cages like North Hollywood area, and we'd go over to.
There's one in Burbank too. I forget the name.
Yeah, I've been over there. Yeah, we'd go to just like random parks with
just swing
and kind of work on stuff.
I can do that all day.
Yeah, I had one of those training bats, you know, that
Yeah.
are, you know, it's just
That,
working on.
the weighted ones.
Yeah, the weighted
Got
ones. That thing sucked.
That
In the
is-
best way.
I so for all my baseball heads, they're gonna
The light ones too, like so you could swing, like so you
Yeah.
get a lot of reps in.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's two
No,
different weights.
that's awesome because I will say this. I just remembered when I was watching the film. This is for my older baseball heads that know the game or ball players. Your batting stance. So you reminded me of two guys. This is way before me too, so don't worry. There's a gentleman, Hall of Fame, both of them Hall of Famers, Milwaukee Brewers, Robin Yount.
Okay.
So when I saw you in the movie, I'm like, dude, that guy looks like Robin Yount.
Oh, cool.
So look him up. Hall of Famer, stud. His teammate was Paul Molitor. They played together. Your batting stance in the movie was Paul Molitor.
Really?
If that makes sense.
Okay.
So for all my baseball heads, look it up. Look at when you see the movie and you see him swinging it. I saw Paul Molitor in the movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But you look like his teammate, Robin Yount.
For sure.
Robin Yount, if I'm not mistaken, is a Valley guy. Another connection there.
Okay.
So it's kind of like, it just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To me, it was like, oh, that's so cool.
Full circle.
Yeah. And then, but I thought about it, I'm like, he can't swing it like that just because he's acting. Like, you don't just do that. Like, so it makes sense that you actually had the coaches and did the reps to be able to pull that off.
And it was tough too. And I had, you know, shout out to Philip Hodges, my buddy. He was a double of mine. You know, he'd have to.
Oh, really?
There's only so many swings that we could do in a
no
day.
way.
Like,
I didn't think about that.
You know, like like I said, we filmed all the baseball stuff over the course of probably like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So after like, you know,
You're tired.
After like 3 or 4 hours of swinging over and over again, after a while, I came to a point where I was like, dude, I can't. My shoulder's gonna rip out of my.
Really?
Yeah. So
I didn't even think about that.
So Philip would step in, and also there are times where like obviously, the best swings are the ones that you're seeing.
Well,
They used.
Yeah, of course.
There's a lot of times where like we either weren't making contact. There's also a lot of times where I was dry swinging, which is I feel like even harder than hitting a ball. At least you're making contact with something because if the camera was in front of me, they didn't want me to hit any real balls because they were worried about.
It was just the motion. They just want to see the bat go through.
Yeah, a lot of the baseballs are put in later.
Wow.
The hits are put in later, so they'd either we'd shoot it all different ways with real baseballs, without real baseballs, but that's a couple hundred swings in just like an hour.
And you get tired of that.
Yeah, just need to take breaks.
I didn't think about that.
So yeah, you'll see. You can notice you can notice a difference between like for me and Philip, probably just because Phillips is way more badass than mine. He was a great player.
Oh, he actually had the baseball knowledge as well.
Yeah. They hired all the baseball guys. So we were worried one day. It was kind of like a Field of Dreams moment when we were filming the baseball stuff. We needed
at the end when you got all the guys were trying out or the high school games.
The tryout.
High school games
both.
too.
It was for all the baseball stuff. We had like an open casting call for baseball players to come out and play.
Yeah.
In the film.
Yeah.
And like the first hour of the first day, nobody showed up. Nobody showed up. And then like a couple guys started to show up. There still wasn't enough to fill out several two baseball teams.
Like let's make it look real here.
And finally, like some guys sent some text messages to like their college coaches. And then eventually, all at once, it was like a Field of Dreams thing. All at once, we had like 3 high school buses pull up full of players.
How the hell?
I don't know. I don't know who made what call, but it's like everybody showed up at exactly the same time. A couple hours late,
but
they showed up.
How
and it just worked out. It just worked out.
That is interesting. That's movie making right there.
For sure. Yeah.
Wow.
Independent movie making at its finest.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's like, you don't have the big resources of a studio. You don't have, hundreds of millions or just tens of millions of dollars to throw at, solving an issue.
Yeah. What do you think was your favorite part of The Hill, the movie, making the movie? It took you so long. You guys won the award.
Yeah.
Like we mentioned, the Family Film Awards. It's still doing well in Netflix for everybody that wants to see it. Go to Netflix, check it out. That's how I get to see it. What would you say would be your biggest take from there?
I think for me personally, Colin, it making the movie helped me develop a lot of different things in my personal life, but it also helped me. I'll just start with that. Like I said before, it wasn't the right time to make it when I first came on board.
Right.
There's a lot of things that I needed to do personally in order to, get to where I needed to be to do the film.
Right.
I had to gain the weight, had to practice the baseball. There was just so many other factors, and then also just the faith element behind it as well, which taught me to just be patient. And if it's meant to be, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And then ultimately it did.
And it did.
Super rad.
And you guys are still, that's shout out to him. It's especially 10 years later, right? Because they probably weren't even thinking about you back then. They probably got somebody else in mind or whatever the case may be. But it turned out to be great. Now you got to be along Dennis Quaid. I mean, it's doing pretty well. I mean, the whole experience from what I'm seeing.
It's been such a blessing, and it's been so rewarding to see people. Go for those few who were able to go see it in theaters while it was out. We appreciate you, but also for a
tell them about that because you were in theaters. It wasn't
we were
just
in theaters.
It didn't go straight to Netflix, guys. We were in theater. I think you got to throw in the we.
We were
in theaters.
We were in theaters.
Okay.
So it was we did a small theatrical release nationwide, and it did pretty well. We came out at the same time as some really, really big summer films last year, and obviously it's hard to compete with the marketing that those films have, and those were amazing films as well. And I will say it seems like a lot more people are starting to go back to the theaters, so appreciative of any film that you choose to go see in theaters. I think that supports your favorite actors, your favorite filmmakers, whomever it is. So thanks for anybody who's listening who's an active moviegoer, but for those who love to sit at home and to enjoy it. Also, it's tough, when you have a family with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 kids. And
you got 10, right?
I have 10 kids. No, but it's like I can imagine how difficult would it be to gosh, how do I take 7 kids to get 7 buckets of popcorn and 7 sodas and 7 movie tickets? That's insane.
It is.
So for those who view at home, to be able to have platform like Netflix that we're on, which was incredible, and I was super excited to see how well the film did just on its first week and days and weeks of getting released on the platform, and it really hung out into in the top 10, moved all the way up to the number 1 spot for films in the U.S. and
that's awesome.
Maybe some other film countries as well, and I think that people really love a film that they can sit with their whole family and watch, and
that's one of them for sure.
Not have to worry about what their kids might see that they don't want them to see. But
right.
I think it's also really important for young people, regardless of their age, whether you're in middle school, high school, or in coming out of college. I think it's really important to see people pursuing their dreams and actively putting all of their efforts into making their dreams come true.
That's what it was about.
And it takes a lot of trials and tribulations, and I think that a lot of people think that success happens overnight. You don't know who somebody is, and then all of a sudden,
boom,
you see them everywhere, and you're like, oh, this happened yesterday. But it's really through my failures and through anybody's personal failures that you're able to get to where you want to go.
Yeah.
And I think that's an important message for people to understand. Yeah, perseverance.
And I mean, that being said, you were Daybreak was that Netflix show that you were in.
That's right.
I think it was that 1 or 2 seasons.
Just the one. Season? We had a great start, and people really had an awesome response to the show. I think that it's funny, if you open up my Instagram DMs, the number one thing that people say to me is
Daybreak?
When is Daybreak coming back for another season? I mean, hundreds, thousands of messages I get.
And do they tell you in advance, or do we know the answer to that? Can you say that or no?
It's not going to come back.
It's not coming back. Sorry, guys.
Well, maybe in 10 or 20 years we'll get to see what Josh and Sam are up to if Netflix wants to do a reunion. But it's one of those things that's just going to live on the network for what it is, and for and we had an amazing time shooting. We got a little bit. There were some issues with the pandemic and whether or not we were going to be able to come back, and I'm sure there's some other things behind the scenes that I'm unaware of just as an actor, but they were told that it wasn't going to happen.
Because that was a big show for you, I think.
Yeah, it was. It was
looking at your resume.
It was a crazy experience, and it was a once in a lifetime thing, and I'll never forget it. I made some amazing friendships on the show, cool. And still stay in contact with most of the people I worked with, and just to have that experience alone was reward enough. And would have loved to go back, but more than anything else, it was a stepping stone in what's
next for you.
For me, yeah.
And then another thing we talked about Dennis Quaid, but We Bought a Zoo was a movie with Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Did you get to hang out with him and do all that stuff, or was that kind of like the story I mentioned, where you come in one day, he comes in the next?
Matt and I
how was that?
Matt and I were with each other pretty much every day
No
while I was
way.
filming, and we had actually stayed in contact quite a bit after the shoot. And
really?
I was working on something in Vancouver after I finished filming, and he was as well, and so we stayed in contact, got dinner, and
you saw him again.
Wow. We hung out a little bit here in California as well, and we haven't talked as much recently. I should probably reach out.
He was texting me.
No, I would love to rekindle our working relationship or just our friendship later down the line. But just
that must have been cool.
What I will say about
Dennis Quaid, Matt Damon. I mean, come on.
Yeah, what I will say about working with Matt is my entire career leading up to that point, he was somebody that I'd watched and admired.
You looked up to,
and I feel like afterward even more so.
Really? How was he to work with?
He was just so professional. I mean, I think that you would expect anyone of their caliber to be, but he truly was. And not only was he just amazing to work with, he was just such a personable guy.
Yeah.
I really respected how he was able to get all of his work done and in such a high capacity and at such an expert level.
Right.
But then also he was such a family's man, and he had his family on set with him at times, and they would travel together, and I would see how he interacted with the cast, myself, the crew, and his family, and it just was so admirable, and it really shaped me, I think, at a developmental time in my life.
Yeah.
And it showed me like, okay, well, that is not only who I want to be on screen, but the type
But he's showing you how to be off screen.
The type of character that I'd like to have off screen as well. And some of the things that he, told me, is just, it was like, always, just be humble. And I think it's super important. I think it's with anything you can get really excited, and you can, things get really glitzy and glamoury in this business. But more than anything else, it's important to remember how you got to where you got, and the people that helped you get there,
of course,
and the people that are soon to meet, and how to, maybe instill the same sort of kindness to them that was shown to me.
That's amazing. Shout out to Matt Damon for being
big baller,
a role model off the scene, right?
For sure. 100%.
Totally. I mean, he just went through it. You could have said, no, right? The guy's a dick, right?
Not.
And he was total opposite.
Oh, he was literally like exactly who I feel like you would expect him to be. And
wow,
maybe even better.
That is awesome. Yeah. That's cool. And
cool.
And I know it's a joke, but does he talk about Boston all the time?
I don't remember that.
Okay.
But I was, it's 14 years ago for me.
Oh, it's been a while for that one.
Yeah, I was 13 or 14 when we filmed that. So it's been a long time.
Congratulations on the film. Are we still promoting the film? Like, are you guys actively still The Hill, or
I'm not.
Is it just kind of like they kind of do its thing?
Press route is over, but it's like now that it's on Netflix, like getting to chat with you and your audience about it is maybe another set of eyeballs that'll go check it out. So a great
go check out The Hill, guys. True story on Netflix. Colin Ford here is our guy here. He's the main character in the movie. You got to watch it. I don't want to tell them everything, right?
Yeah, you can't.
But
especially if they've listened this far.
I know, right? Tell me, or tell us, give us a sneak peek of what is up next for you, what you are potentially looking into. You don't have to spill the beans on anything,
had a great time working with the director of The Hill, Jeff Celentano.
Okay.
We're talking about gearing up to do another film together.
You said Jeff, again. Right?
His name's Jeff. Jeff
Celentano. Yeah, I know Jeff. Yeah.
He texted you too, yeah?
Yeah, he's texting him and Matt were just blowing me up today.
Oh, that's crazy.
They're like, "Is Colin's coming?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, here, let's."
Yeah. So we're gearing up to maybe work on something at the end of the summer.
Yeah.
We had a big strike on the film industry.
I know.
Last year.
I mean, we know we're in Hollywood. We hear about it all the time.
We
see it. I think people were walking downstairs. You can see them walking down from
picketing and stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy, and it's. I know people in the behind the scenes, right? The grips is what we call them, right?
Yeah.
Post production, the crews.
IATSE. Yeah.
I mean, they're all, without them, you can't film.
No. So everybody's, everybody with whether it's upcoming in the next couple weeks or months or that was happening last year, like all of our union contracts have all been up for renegotiation.
Where are we with that? Like,
SAG
are you guys?
we're all writers and SAG. We're all negotiated and through the other side of it. And now potentially some of the cruise unions are going to be up for renegotiation. I have no idea what's going to happen.
Writers are good. Everybody's
writers
good.
are done.
There's no strike right now.
Not currently. Everything's active.
Got it.
So there are, I'm taking meetings and had some great appointments and things like that. But as of right now, it's been the fallout from all of these things has been a little bit slow to regain, I guess, a normal pace in the industry.
It takes time.
I think everybody sort of is feeling it. But things have been going really well. I'm excited for what the rest of the year looks like for myself, and hopefully whenever I have something else that I can shed some light on, we can come back and talk about baseball. And obviously, I'm gonna have to get you a role in the gig.
If I have time, I might go out. I might make it. I might, I'll try. I don't know. I can be the baseball.
That's perfect.
Oh man, thanks for being here today, my boy. I call this the fireball questions. Okay. I'm just gonna shoot questions it can be acting questions, it can be baseball questions, it can be real estate questions. You just answer them as fast as you can.
Okay.
They're sponsored by Fireball, so we got to take 2 Fireball shots.
Do you really?
I'm kidding. I wish.
I'm down.
That would have been cool. We had. Oh, see, there you go. I'm not sure how people would take it when I always say that, and I'm like, what if they're like, dude, I would have known. We could have done it.
Hey,
We'll do it. We'll go to the bar after.
Do it after.
So Fireball question sponsored by Driven, which is we're at Driven Studio. If you look up there, boom, bada bing, bada boom. Thank you, Driven. Driven is our production, not production. It's our market. Would you say marketing, Anthony, or what would you say? Is there entertainment? Driven Entertainment is how I'm able to be here in the studio. So shout out to Driven. So say that again. Our parent company. There you go. I'm sorry. So Fireball questions. You got the 20, 15 second, whatever, and then do the business at the buzzer at the end. And then we're going to do small gifts. And then I'm going to talk to you about why I wore these shoes.
Okay.
All right. You got the timer?
3, 2.
Pool or no pool in your home?
Pool.
Movies or TV series?
Movies.
Batting or pitching?
Batting.
1 story, 2 story?
2 stories.
Cheese or pepperoni?
Pepperoni.
Nike or Reebok?
Nike.
Indie movies or big production?
Both.
Oh, Dodgers or Braves?
Oh, no.
That's the big one.
Braves.
Ah! We beat the timer?
Yeah.
Oh, we beat the timer.
That's so tough.
That was a good one, right?
Yeah.
The last one?
No, see, I would have said Dodgers, but I have a buddy who I went to elementary.
I'm like, but
I have a buddy who I went to elementary school with, whose brother plays for the Braves now.
No, who's that?
Max Fried.
Shut it.
Yeah,
that's his brother.
My buddy, when I went to school with a young man named Jake Fried and his older brother.
That is
Max.
very cool. Yeah. And, the
so
pitcher.
It's super cool to we weren't like super close or anything.
Right. Yeah,
he was obviously an older
it's cool to know.
Super cool to he used to come to like our little league or third.
Watch you guys play
games and.
Yeah.
Now he's obviously, crushing it. And
that is very awesome.
Another good family friend of mine just got married to Lane Thomas, who plays for...
What team is that?
Nationals.
The Nationals. No
believe
way.
So. Nationals.
Yeah.
So, it's just super cool to, know people who I've, who my family knows or whatever, who are, obviously crushing it in the league. That is awesome.
Yeah. And now you're crushing it in Hollywood. Bada bing, bada boom.
That's the coolest part about doing the acting.
Yes, Anthony.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Tell him. Ask him.
If you can play any role alongside any actor.
Ooh, who would it be?
Oh, man.
Oof. That's a toughie.
Like something that's already existed that I would just pop into? Oh, man, that's so tough.
Wait, Alexis, do you want to repeat the question?
Oh, yeah. So if you can play any role with anybody, any actor or actress, and you can just choose whatever it is, who would it be? And I guess maybe what kind of role would it be?
Oh, man, it's tough because now I'm thinking about different time eras.
Okay, let's talk about
live anymore.
Current times.
Okay,
now make it easier.
Make it easier. I don't know. It'd be
what's your dream role? How about that?
It'd be super cool to
Like,
do. I'd love to do like, okay, so it's going back to Matt Damon. Like I love like like a film like a great cast film like Saving Private Ryan. Like everybody was in that movie.
Yeah.
I'd love to do something that
So like action
like
film.
like a military, but something with like story driven.
Yeah.
That would be really rad. Love the idea of working on something. That has like like a Sopranos Scarface kind of vibe, something.
I can see you in that.
Something like that would be
see
really cool, like an ensemble cast.
Yeah.
With just like all the greats. It'd be awesome.
Hold on.
And I know Clint Eastwood's still making movies. It'd be
There
great.
you go.
He's in his 90s, but it'd be.
You'd love to. Oh, really?
Clint's just great.
Yeah.
I mean, his stuff is legendary. So something
That's
like
very
that.
cool.
Yeah.
Godfather reboot.
Hey, you never know. So check this out. I've got
you got some baseball.
I got
cards.
baseball cards. You're gonna get to open up a pack. I'm gonna open up a pack. I'm gonna give you the old school pack. This was let me see here.
Is that Tops? No.
No, this is a Donruss. You're like, what's that exactly?
I don't know, yeah.
1990 Donruss.
Okay.
This is before you.
This is so
right?
cool.
For your time,
I'm
my
gonna take
boy.
a picture of this before I bust it.
Yeah,
open.
bust it open. Let me see what you get. I'm gonna open up 2023 Tops. And this was actually sponsored by Mama Breaks. Let me give you a sticker. Mama Breaks is one of the Tops's female baseball collectors. Mama Breaks, Stephanie is her name, and she's the one that was kind enough to give us these cards.
Oh, thank you, Stephanie.
Yeah, Steph, thank you.
My aunt's name.
Oh, there you go. And Mama Breaks, look her up. If you're into collectibles like baseball cards, she's all over it. She's big in the game. And let me see what you just read out the names. You're probably like, who are these guys? But I'll read out who I get for fun.
Watch me get like a.
Watch you pull something, bro.
Crazy.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I know, right?
Okay, let's see here.
Oh, this is pretty unique. Remember earlier, Colin, I talked to you about Fernando Tatis doing that record breaking. That's his son.
Did you actually pull that?
I pulled his son.
That's crazy.
What are the odds of that?
That's pretty low, I feel like.
What are the odds of me pulling it? Fernando Tatis' son today in baseball. His dad hit 2 grand slams in 1 inning, and we spoke about it earlier in the podcast. And now I pulled out his son in the baseball pack. That is pretty ironic.
Okay.
It was meant to be, baby. You got anybody you recognize there?
No. Honestly not. Henry Cotto.
Cotto. Aaron Judd.
Derek Lillinguist.
Aaron Judge.
Mark
Zach.
Eugene
Yeah, I'd love.
Grace.
That's how Mike Trout. This is how I remembered all their names.
Mike Trout?
I got Trout. You can have them too.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Albert
Albert Almora.
Mitchell. Dennis Eckersley.
Oh, you got the Ekman. Dude, that guy's a
He's from the
savage. Hall of Famer.
Kirby Puckett.
Bro, really? Puckett? Like
Let's
that's
see what year. 61.
that's gnarly. You got Puckett.
Okay. David Keith Stewart, Oakland.
Dave Stewart.
Dave
see?
Stewart, yeah.
Yeah, Dave Stewart. Yeah.
Mike Joseph.
I'm not going to say it, but you might pull the 2 guys I spoke about earlier. If you're Robin Yount and Paul Molitor, I just probably jinxed it, but
James Edward Dwyer, Luis Raul Quinones, Glenn Earl Davis, Mark William Davis.
Okay.
2 Davises back to back. Mike Lewis Greenwell, Antonio Rafael Armas.
Yeah, no.
And
No
Bo
idea.
Jackson.
Dude, he pulled the bow. Bo knows.
Jackson.
You show him the bow.
I know that's the one I know.
Yeah, Bo knows. There it
Bo
is.
Jackson. That one's pretty sweet.
Bo knows. Real quick before I let you go, share with everybody about your shoe stuff. What am I going there? What? Well, that's why I wore these. The Dolce Gabbanas.
Did Hector tell you?
Hector? What? What? Hector? What? Oh, do you know what I'm talking about? I don't. I mean, I just thought it was kind of cool to share. But
yeah,
you know,
I've had like a sneaker. I've been big into sneakers my whole life.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that was kind of cool.
Part of like going to like school out here. We had to wear uniforms at school, and
Campbell Hall.
I literally had to wear like a white T-shirt with khaki pants.
Got it.
Every day for even when I lived in Atlanta, that was my uniform.
No way.
I had it was a burgundy shirt.
Yeah.
You know, so shoes were really the only way.
Can you put that Michael.
Oh yeah. You know, kind of growing up in Atlanta, I had to wear a uniform at school there, and also in California I did as well. And so wearing a cool pair of sneakers was like the only way to kind of express yourself, or like, you know, your style and your vibe. And it's always been
I heard you were a sneakerhead, basically.
I love all kinds of I love all brands, I love all shoes, I have all types, but you know, my heart's always been with Nike. And
I was on the
Jordan.
Fireball questions. One of the questions I forgot to say was Nike or Reebok.
I think he said it. We Nike.
Did I say it?
Yeah, we did it.
Okay,
we did it.
Okay, we did it. Okay,
no,
cool.
Nike, and you know, Nike's always shown me love, and that's been super rad.
That's cool.
Yeah, dude. I'm not even gonna say how many pairs of shoes I have.
Oh, you're still collecting?
I haven't bought as many over the past 3 or 4 years.
But you have that collection there.
I have like I did like the whole like Virgil Abloh, like the 10 Nike collection. I have, you know, most of the pairs that I had interest in getting from that collection. And,
that is so cool.
And yeah, dude, it's tough. You know, they always say wear your sneakers, and I do, but I also have a hard time wearing them.
I was gonna ask you that.
I get upset. You never know, like,
you're gonna be out.
Someone's gonna step on your shoes.
Yeah.
Certain materials are easier to clean than others, so it's tough. But they deteriorate after a while.
Yeah,
so.
I pulled a pair of shoes and the bottom fell off.
Yeah,
I'm like, I didn't even wear them.
You're like, crap.
What the heck?
I might as well. I
might as well worn them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So now I have pairs that are like 5-6 years old, and I'm going. They're like brand new. I'm going, and they're worth quite a bit. I'm going, well, do I just sell them? So I
have a horror story real quick. Sorry to cut you off. I just remembered. I wore some shoes. I went to go play basketball.
Oh, done.
You know what happened?
Fall apart, right?
The bottom fell off, and I'm like embarrassed, and they're like, "The fuck happened?" I'm like, "They're collectibles, but not really." Like, they're looking at me like, "Dude, get some shoes,
get
bro.
Some new shoes."
But you can relate, right?
100%.
Oh man!
Yeah, your favorite hip hop artist, your favorite basketball player, your favorite rapper.
Yeah.
It's whatever. Anybody, like it happens. The amount of times I know that a lot of guys they'll wear like an older pair of shoes. And they'll keep a backup pair in their backpack. Like,
because of that.
Like PJ Tucker,
he's huge.
He's always sharing when he blows out.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I had no idea, and I'm like, and obviously I didn't have an extra pair.
Yeah. Who
I was
normally
would running like this.
I always keep a beater pair of Air Force Ones in my car just for that reason.
That is so cool. Colin Ford, thank you for coming out today here at Safe at Home Podcast. Hollywood star here in the making. We wish you nothing but the best moving forward. And anytime you want to come back, feel free to come back.
Dude,
he's a shoe collector, guys, not just a movie star.
I know. We gotta add shoes to the mix now.
For real. See you guys in the next show. Thank you. Peace. Oh, man.
Sweet, dude. Dude, it was fun, man. Nice chatting with you.